Properties assessed, the county's already done the assessments, and BAM!
One more time.
BAM!
One more time.
BAM!
You get slapped in the face with what the taxes are, the land, the CDD, and the non-ad valorem taxes. Welcome to another episode of the Lending Lounge. Jose!
What's up?
It's another glorious week in the books.
Yes, it is.
It is August. We are 2/3 of the way through the year.
Yep.
And this year has been flying.
Actually, I wouldn't say it's three-fourths of the year, right? We work in quarters, so it's 3/4. We're heading into September, which starts the fourth quarter, and it's flying. I mean, we're having a good time, though. When you have a good time, time flies.
Time flies. Time flies.
So, hey.
But Jose, today is going to be a Grind My Gears episode.
Woo! I love these days, just so y'all know.
Grind my gears, Jose. So,
Let's do it.
story time, guys. Here I am trying to do my civic duties, and there is a new neighborhood getting built close to where I live, and I'm not against developments and none of that. But, you know, I go to see what is the county commissioner thing. This one happens to be about CDDs.
Okay.
Community District Developments. Correct?
Community Development District.
CDDs.
Yeah, Community Development District.
There you go. Jose got me. Community
That's your back.
Development Districts.
Correct. CDDs.
For those of you guys that don't know what that is,
Yep.
do you want to define the CDD? Do you want to let them know, or you want me to do it?
Go ahead, keep going.
So
You're
the
doing a great job by
CDD
yourself.
is essentially the builder wants to build this brand new development or community. And instead of them paying for the infrastructure for that community, they take out a bond. The bond then creates the roads, the parks, if there's a clubhouse,
Amenities,
pool, any of that stuff. All that stuff is included in the CDD.
That is ran by an actual board from the government.
From the whoever created the CDD.
Right.
My problem with this, Jose, is that builders and people selling real estate, not everybody, but there's a lot of bad apples
A lot.
that do not explain what the CDD is. So when clients get their first tax bill, no, the first one is good. The first one is going to be land and the CDD,
Right.
typically. So they'll catch a tax bill for about $3,000, maybe $3,500. And they're thinking, wow, that's high, but I got a new house. I'm in this, I'm loving life. It's year 2 that comes around.
Properties assessed, the county's already done the assessments, and BAM!
One more time.
BAM!
One more time.
BAM!
You get slapped in the face with what the taxes are, the land, the CDD, and the non-ad valorem taxes.
Yeah.
And now your tax bill went from $2,500 and $2,900 or $3,900 to $8,000, almost $10,000.
It's insane.
And what happens to these clients?
They can't afford their payments no more.
And why can't they afford their payments,
Because
Jose?
everything is increased. Not only that, they have to make up for what the lender already paid. Because the lender is going to pay the taxes and all those fees up front regardless. And now they have a shortage. And you have to catch up on your shortage as well as continue making payments so you're not short in the next coming year.
So if the client is short $5,000 this year, they have to make up the $5,000 that the bank paid out.
They paid out.
The $5,000 that they're short this current year,
Yeah.
and another $5,000 for the next year to make sure their escrow account is current.
Correct.
That's $15,000. That's over $1,000 a month. So if your mortgage was $2,500, your mortgage just became $3,500.
Like it's nothing.
So me, trying to be the nice guy that I am, doing my civic duty, I go up there and I tried to show the board and the commissioners, hey, there's a problem. None of you guys are seeing it. And this is what it is. And nobody really paid attention. I feel like nobody paid attention because it was the battle between the builder and the residents that are trying to keep the community the way it is. And I get that. But the bigger problem, which is what I was trying to describe, is like no one is looking out for these new homeowners.
Right.
Everybody, the builder's looking for a shortcut to create infrastructure and not have to pay. And
Which is my problem with the whole thing.
which is the huge problem.
Yeah.
And then, the way they spin it, Jose. Oh, bro, the way they spin it.
In the world.
They spin it, the community, the CDD.
You're going to have the pool. You're going to have the community. We're going to have everything built. Yeah, but on your backs for the next 30 years.
On the backs of the new homeowners for the next 30 years. And then one of these commissioners, I'm calling you out because you know better. You're a realtor in Lakeland. You should know better. This commissioner has the audacity to say, oh, they can pay off the CDD if they want to. Yes, they can.
And how much would it take?
$30,000 to $40,000, whatever the money number is.
Like I want to spend $40,000.
Exactly. Who wants to spend that right now? And we deal with middle class America, lower class. Like, right. I'll be honest, I don't do loans for people. We have done loans, jumbo loans in the past. I've done $1 million properties. They're far and few in between. Right. We stick between 200 and about 550,000. Yeah. Somewhere in that ballpark. We're middle class America. That's what we do. That's the majority of our loans here.
That's why I like to help. That's why I want to help.
So me seeing this and trying to explain this, it wasn't going through their head. I send them a tax bill, show them a tax bill. Like, here's a proof. 2015, 2016 tax bill. So you see, when the CDD got, no one said nothing. Then the attorney for the new builder shows up. Yeah. And he's like, oh, that's a resort style community. But nobody asked me why, Pablo, why did you use that as a comp, like number? I used it because every house in that community, Jose, is the same square footage as all the houses that are around where they're trying to build. So that would be like for like, correct?
Correct.
So the attorney then goes, oh, but that place has a resort, is a resort style living and has a lazy pool. That was his argument. So in my head, it has a clubhouse and it has a lazy pool. He's pitching everybody in that area a new clubhouse, a 9-hole golf course. Mm-hmm. He's pitching new pools, walking trails, pickleball courts, tennis courts. Does that not sound like...
Sounds like resort living to me, buddy.
So it's like, why you downplay what I said?
And you just said the exact same thing, just in other terms. Oh, because
it doesn't have a lazy pool. Heaven forget it has a lazy pool. So my issue is this. You guys want to take care of the citizens of the state of Polk County? This is an issue that's about to pop off really bad. 100%. Not now. It's not going to happen not now. It's not going to happen 2 years from now, 3, 4 or 5 years from now when all these communities are built up and people start struggling. It's going to be a problem. If interest rates stay high, it's going to be a real big problem sooner rather than later. Sure. Because when rates come down, you can refinance the house and put them back into a payment, which is what they were kind of close to anyway.
More amicable for what they're
exactly, because you're financing all that stuff, putting it back in. Absolutely. But if it doesn't happen,
that's what the problem.
It's going to be a big problem. Absolutely. And again, I think what irks me or what really grinds my gears in this situation, Jose, is number one, the blatant lie. Like
lack of transparency.
Lack of transparency. Like I told him straight up, like why you know, one of the arguments from one of the board members was they're grown adults. They know what they're signing themselves into. Yes, you're correct. They should know 100%. But if your lender is tied to the builder, if the title company is tied to the builder,
which many are,
and the salesperson selling you the damn house is tied to the builder, who's looking out for that client?
Well, not only that, a lot of them don't even present that information.
No, they don't. And when they do,
they spin it to a way where this is the reason why we do it. It's a great thing for you. So a wonderful thing.
And
they don't talk about the hike in price.
No. And then if someone's smart, ask them a little bit more thoroughly. Yeah. Oh, when you file your homestead, the taxes will go down.
Right.
You know how many times I've heard that too?
Too many times.
We've made it to the news. I mean, you know, I don't know if you guys know, but there's an article, and I'll try to link it to this video too. Yeah. NBC or CBS, there's somebody in Polk County, a lady, single mother, saved all her money, got put into one of these houses. Great, she loves it. Got a tax bill for like $2,900 for the first year, thinking, okay, this is about right. Mm-hmm. And then, boom, $8,000 the next year. Now she's got to sell her house. All her life savings, everything she worked hard for her and her kids, gone.
You're talking about the news. I actually have a client right now who's trying to sell her house because of that reason. That actual thing just happened to one of my
Jose, we've been getting these calls for the last 10 years.
Like, it's insane.
I just think that now that we're here like full-time in Davenport and Polk County,
we're seeing it more.
Like we see it way more.
I got another client he's a great vet. he bought into a community with the CDDs that had 2 CDDs, and he had to sell that property to go in St. Cloud because he didn't have those CDDs issues like they have over there where he first purchased. And I'm just like, yo, this is happening all the time, and people don't talk about it enough. People are not being educated about what those costs are.
No.
I was at a closing table with 2 of my clients. Matter of fact, I was a referral from that same client. They were buying into a community with 2 CDDs. The builder or the sales rep didn't even tell them there was 2 CDDs. They said it's only 1. It was 2 separate $2,000. So that's $4,000 in a hole. Their taxes were only $300 that year. Obviously, we do our due diligence, so I had taxes up to $9,000, including that CDD, plus an extra $5 on the taxes, which may fall short. I don't know yet until the actual, that's just an estimate.
And that's the thing.
We collected, so they don't have that burden.
And that's honest loan officers.
That's not the builder's loan officer that they just go ahead and go with the 375.
Whatever the tax bill was last year, that's what it is.
Because that's what title is going to use. Oh, you can't do that. The minute you do that, you're putting them in a hole off the rip, and then they're gonna lose their house, or they're gonna have to sell. They're gonna be forced to sell. And then, what makes you think they might sell right away? Who wants to live in an area where the taxes are $9,000 with the CDDs and all that?
And then that's
you have to find that buyer at that point.
And that's where my situation. Why I
might be stuck. They might foreclose at that point.
And that's why I was there, because again, all these are things that, and I guess what really everything's grinding my gears about CDDs. Right now, right? But I guess what really grinds my gears about CDDs is that people that don't know anything about the industry. Approving it like it's nothing.
Like it's nothing. Because it's not their money.
It's
not where they live.
No. It's not because of that. It's because the developer hits these 6 criteria and automatically we got to rubber stamp
we're
it.
Golden.
No, think about the people that are buying the houses. Yeah. Think it's your brother, it's your mother, it's your cousin, it's your best friend. It's the people of Polk County. Like, this is crazy. Yeah. And it's only going to get worse. Because we've heard from the builder's mouth on several occasions where they all wish they could put everything in a CDD if they could. Yeah. And then another argument that attorney made for the CDD, bro, he said, "Oh, it's much better than HOA." And that's what I said. I said, every CDD community I know of has an HOA. So what are like? How are you making it like it's better than an HOA if it's literally a CDD plus an HOA?
The only difference between CDD and HOA is that the consumers, the buyers, don't have control like they do on the HOA. They may be able to vote them out if they have a quorum, and if not, then they're protected in that aspect. But CDDs, there's no protection. It is what it is. You're stuck on that payment for 30 years.
And just so you know, I reached out and I sent emails to all the board of commissioners.
Yeah.
I let them know.
You get any replies?
No, hell no. None of them replied to me. None of them. Not even the one that I thanked for actually voting against the CDD.
Yeah.
But at least she voted against it, right? Like everybody else is like, nope, they've hit the 6 qualifications, in and out.
Tell me about that meeting. Were you able to respond to any the accusations or not?
No. So the way
what happened with the lawyer?
No, man. So the lawyer goes up there, talks about, please approve this, all this stuff, and then obviously the constituents, they go up and they speak their part.
Right.
And there was good arguments for other stuff, right? Like some people were talking about animals, they're endangered animals, that they shouldn't be building for that reason. Others were saying logical stuff that you would think people would logically think. If me and you, Jose, this is the 3rd mortgage company we've been with, right? The first one failed. No one gave us the money to create the infrastructure for that mortgage company. Nobody said, Jose Pablo, here's $50,000 for you to create a mortgage company, right? The second time we were in another mortgage company, no one came and said, Jose Pablo, here's $50,000, create a mortgage company.
And here's some marketing money. Right?
No, if we failed, we were done.
That was it.
And if we were, if we're tough, if we got tough skin, we come back and do it again.
That's it.
So there was entrepreneurs that were saying the same thing. I'm a serial entrepreneur. My first business failed. No one gave me a handout. I busted my ass, came back, did it again. The second time it was fruitful, I reaped the rewards and the benefits.
Right.
That's not what's happening with these builders. These builders are going in. They can put the infrastructure. Let's say it's $30,000, right? Mm-hmm. They can put in the infrastructure for $30,000 and charge it to the client. Let's do that. Why is that an issue? Or because the thing what they try to spin too was, well, if we don't give them the CDD money, then they're just gonna bill it to the consumer. Fantastic, bill it to the consumer. Because what happens if you don't? If the market dictates that house is worth $400,000, that builder better know how to build a house profitably for under $400,000 so they can make their money, right? But if they have a $30,000 check, now they just have to build it for $370,000 so they can make that 30 grand profit for sure. Again, I'm not against anybody making money and making profit, but you're doing it off the backs of potential homeowners, putting them in a worse situation than they're in. And it might not be the person coming behind, because that person obviously has to qualify with a higher tax bill, period. But the person that's buying the house initially, you are doing them a disservice and you're being dishonest, and that's not good.
Yeah, I mean, bottom line.
And people are making decisions that know nothing about real estate.
That's the worst part.
That's the worst part. Yeah. And the ones that know better either don't practice,
don't care,
or don't care. And that's even worse.
Yeah. Bottom line.
So anyways, that's my 2 cents for the week. CDDs are bad. Those are all the reasons why. I hope someone, if you don't agree with me, I would love to come in here and you could debate either one of us. Take your choice. Because that's a hill I'm willing to die on. And I've got realtor friends that we can pop in here to talk about it. I got clients.
The people who are going through this mess right now, those are the ones that, and my clients are lifelong, right?
We treat them like family.
We treat them like family. We work on referrals and all that, and they'll come to you like years after the fact and tell you about their these are horrific scenarios that they paint sometimes, right? I have not heard, not one person came to me and said, I'm so happy that I got that CDD.
Not one.
I have not yet to this day had somebody say, I am ecstatic to pay this extra $5,000 extra, and I'm getting my bang for the buck. I haven't yet heard that, but what I have heard is I have to sell my house. I have to find another community. This community is terrible. They don't even uphold what they're supposed to be doing. I've heard all the nightmare stories, as opposed. So you can't spin me that the CDD is great until you show me greatness.
100%.
And I have yet one story to tell you about that.
Not one, but I can show you
plenty of.
I can show you realtors that say the opposite. I can show you clients that have been harmed that can say the opposite. Yeah. I can show you other lenders that are not in our office that work at a different company completely.
No.
Will come and say the same thing. But yet people that have no clue about the industry will make a decision and just keep writing blank checks to builders to come in and do that.
So vote them out. If you're in Polk County and you see that commissioner is up for re-election, vote that person out.
All of them are going out. Every single one of them. I'm voting all of them out. Because I feel like
everybody who voted for, vote them out.
And again, I would argue this point on every CDD. Yeah. Not just because this one just so happened to be because it was close to my house, right, and I wanted to see what the process. I'm more involved in that process. Yeah. But if someone tells me, "Hey, Pablo, this is they're voting on this CDD on this side of Polk County," I'd go out there again and do the same thing and keep making arguments until somebody would listen, actually listen, yeah, not just look at you, but actually listen.
That you present your case and then they just push you to the side whatever.
No, listen. Don't just think these 6 points, because that's what they kept saying. If it hits these 6 points, then it's not our job to dictate whether it's right or wrong. No, that's where you're wrong. You were put there to service the people of your Polk County, not to give freaking loans for the state.
Well, that's enough.
I'm done.
I'm done.
And this is another episode of the Lending Lounge.
Closes are made simple.